So, new incriminating evidence against the new Palworld clone, Palland, which is available only on the Nintendo Store, has come to light, and you're going to hear it first here. I'm going to say this up front and try to make it as clear as possible because apparently I didn't do it as well in the previous video. This is not a game that is published by Nintendo. This is a game that is published by a company called Bogeysoft. Bogeysoft just happens to do a lot of asset flip and stolen IP games that are only available on the Nintendo Switch. So in my mind, they still have a little bit of culpability in this, but like just to be 100% clear, this is not a Nintendo-produced, Nintendo-published game. It's just solely distributed on the Nintendo Store. But let's start with, I had someone comment on my last video that after I published the video, they started data mining the game and started pulling some of the assets and stuff from the game to try to learn a little bit more about it. So I reached out to them and said, hey, if you find anything interesting, would love to work with you on it, on a video. This is another YouTuber by the name of Orsted, and I'll link their stuff below and at the end of the video. But one of the first things that they found is that there is an asset within the Palland game, within the Palland files, that is just titled DLC Palworld. Interesting. And that is to say that they can't even claim that they weren't trying to directly copy Palworld. They can't even claim that they aren't just making a cheap Palworld ripoff clone because they referred to it in their own file structure as DLC Palworld. As well, in the file structure, you'll learn that the logo is titled, hold on, let me pop it up real quick, flux underscore dev underscore a underscore highly underscore detailed underscore 3D underscore logo underscore 4 underscore Pokeworld. Pokeworld, directly using both Pokemon and Palworld in the file structure, underscore with underscore a underscore vibrant underscore 0 space background space removed 1.png. Now, that's a really weird file structure, right? Maybe, or really weird file name. Maybe, unless you consider the fact that it's probably AI generated through an AI service called Flux AI. So not only are they stealing the idea, they're making a direct Palworld ripoff. They are also using AI generated content to do it and directly referencing the two games that they are stealing from, Pokemon Palworld, mostly Palworld, Pokemon and Palworld, in the that is likely the prompt that they used to get that logo, to get the Palland logo. And if you look at the Palland logo and you think it's anything but AI generated, then you're crazy. If you look at the Palland models and some of their models and creatures, AI generated, and we have proof for that too.
Well, how about long shot? Let's search Poke for Pokemon. Pokeball? Flux Dev A. What could this be? A highly detailed 3D logo for Pokeworld with a vibrant background removed. Isn't that the kind of file name you get from using Bing's AI image generator? Certainly peculiar, that's for sure. And the logo itself also looks suspicious as hell. It does not look realistic at all. Snake Naga. That also sounds familiar. It's a lot larger of a file too. It's very small. That is a full 3D model, but it still looks very familiar. I can never remember how to move the camera in Blender properly. Oh, there's a built-in animation. And it appears to only be somewhat functional. But it has an animation. But I wonder where this model is from. Let us go to Firefox. Oh, that's a little uncouth. It's just right there. These models are all from an asset pack from Mesh Tint. And I wouldn't be doubtful of their origins in other locations. So we have AI imagery used in an official Nintendo game now. Even if it was just published by Nintendo, it's still technically part of their domain. And that means that we're dealing with an asset flip on the Nintendo Switch store again. I do believe there was already an issue like this before.
Now, they are also using a lot of asset flip stuff, which, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with, to be honest. I don't super have a problem with asset flip. It's not high quality, but when you look at the game, you look at the trailer, and if you think it's going to be high quality, that's kind of on you. There's a lot of like indie devs or like, you know, single developers that are trying to make their first game and stuff, and they use asset flipped content. That's fine. It's lazy, but also like, hey, if you don't have the ability to really do the 3D modeling yourself, you can't afford to pay someone, and you went to like a Unity store or any of these different things that sell assets, and you bought the assets, there's nothing wrong with that. But he bought it from what appears to be an AI-generated asset model company, a company that is generating AI-generated assets for this sort of thing, which, as you may know from watching some of my previous videos, I don't agree with using AI-generated stuff for commercial purposes. Now, also, when talking about using stuff that you shouldn't be using for commercial purposes, it appears that based on, let me find exactly where Orsted told me this. It appears, and we're basing this, I'll explain what we're basing this on, but it appears that they may be using a pirated, unlicensed, or personal use version of the Unity in order to make this game, and this is more conjecture. This is more conjecture, but Orsted went ahead and got the game and tried to play it to see what would happen and see if he could find more stuff that looked kind of sketchy, and it appeared with the Unity splash screen on boot. And according to the notes, while Unity 6 and later versions allow removing the splash screen even with a personal license, older versions of Unity might require a Unity Plus, Pro, Enterprise, or Industry license to fully remove the default made with Unity splash screen. If you have a paid license and the option to uncheck the box is unavailable, you might need to reactivate your license. So one of two things either happened. Either they have a paid license, They have a paid license of Unity, and just were too lazy to remove the splash screen, or they have a pirated or unpaid license of Unity and couldn't remove the splash screen. Or if they have a personal use one, they wouldn't be allowed to do it either. That is either more of a testament to how lazy they are, that they didn't bother to remove that splash screen, or that they are just stealing more and more assets, which seems likely to be the case, because also, several hours after the video came out, the video came out, it went through my video came out, went through its copyright check process, allowed me to know that, no, there are no copyright issues that YouTube was imminently aware of. Several hours after that, I got a copyright notice that caused about a minute of the video to be muted. And that minute of the video happens to be the part where I am watching the trailer for Palland, because Exciting Tac Sound Gallery by Dimitri Taras was copywritten. The owner of it, or the alleged owner of it, I'm looking into this too, the alleged owner of it issued a copyright claim and took all the monetization of the video temporarily. My editor was very quickly able to get in. My editor's luckily in Britain, so this happened in the middle of the night. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. When I got this, it was 2:38 a.m. my time when I got this copyright notice. Luckily, my editor is British, so he saw that immediately, went ahead and muted the section, so it's no longer having monetization taken from it, but they issued a full monetization claim for a minute of the 10-minute video. The content owners were allegedly We Are Era Music BV. I'm not sure. I'm actually looking into that, because apparently that company is very shady, where they issue a lot of like false copyright claims. But the trailer has that in it. Now, part of me wonders, okay, did they reach out to Dimitri Torres, who, according to all his social media links and stuff, he's the owner of his music, and you're supposed to be interacting directly with him, and say, hey, can we use this? I doubt it. Based on everything else that they're doing, I doubt it. Or they, conspiracy theory, they intentionally put copywritten music in the trailer for it because they wanted anyone that tried to do content on it to get copyright claimed. Or 3, they didn't think about it. They just found some music that they liked, they used it, and they didn't give a shit because it's not like they're publishing this anywhere but the Nintendo store. So that's another little thing that's going on here. But all this is to say that this company, Boggysoft, is clearly doing cheap asset flip stuff. They are not even just doing cheap asset flip stuff. They are directly trying to kind of steal and copy by not only doing asset flip stuff and using assets that look remarkably like some of the Palworld assets, but also using AI generation with Pokemon and Palworld in the prompt in order to generate things that are designed. They can't even try to argue that it is not designed to look like Pokemon/Palworld because of the fact that they are using AI-generated prompts that reference the two of them. That is directly saying that they are ripping off Pokemon and Palworld. They are using what might be copywritten music illegally, or without permission, rather, without permission. They may or may not have permission. I don't have any proof one way or the other, but I'm willing to bet based off of everything else that they are not getting permission to use the music, and they just released it and they don't really care. And they might be using a pirated or unlicensed copy of Unity or a personal use copy commercially, which I believe you're not allowed to do. I believe that's in their TOS. Can you use personal use copies of Unity commercially? Okay, so I'm actually a little bit wrong there, to be fair. Okay. You can use, according to a quick search, you can use personal use copies of Unity commercially as long as the game makes less than $100,000 in a 12-month period. So that's fine. I doubt this game is going to make $100,000 in a 12-month period, but also it's just, I will say, it's still kind of like they aren't even investing money into this. They aren't even investing money into their blatant ripoff. They are using a personal use copy of it to do this all as cheaply as possible to make a blatant ripoff and see how much money they can make. And, well, again, this is not a Nintendo game in the sense that it is not published by Nintendo. It's not created by Nintendo. It's created by and published by a company called Boggysoft. It is solely distributed, and all of Boggysoft's games appear to be solely distributed on the Nintendo store, are all asset flips or stolen assets or stolen IP, like Repo Horror is just a straight-up rip-off and one-for-one copied from Repo, and Palland is one-for-one copied, but worse. It's like a Xerox of a Xerox copy of Palworld to try to make some quick money, and Nintendo seems to be fine with that. So, yes, it's not a Nintendo product. It's still being approved of and used by Nintendo. And it kind of like, okay, did they reach out to Nintendo to be allowed to use their stuff? Because if the game mechanics, to be fair, right, they didn't show any of the game mechanics that Nintendo is suing over in the trailer, but still, they're probably there. But that's really all I have to say about that. I just wanted to do a quick update a little bit about that because Orsted did the data mining. It was really cool to see that they directly stole from a lot of stuff with just either using the AI generated with those prompts or DLC Palworld written in there, meaning they recognize what they're doing. They are using asset flips that are AI generated. Is any of this technically illegal? No, maybe. I'm not sure. It's a clear violation of copyright, I think. I think it's a very clear violation of copyright because of the fact that, and it's made even more clear by the fact that they used AI generated with those prompts, but then there's a whole, in the law right now being debated about was AI copyright infringement or not. I don't know. But, I mean, look at the game, look at the main character. It's very clearly meant to look like Palworld, meant to look like a cheap ripoff of Palworld. Is it illegal? I'm not exactly sure. Is it very, very stupid? Yes. and Orsted did the data mining for it. So I'm going to link at the end here, and one of the related videos is going to be my previous video on the topic, and the other related video is going to be Orsted's video, where he goes over all the data mining. Check him out; he's a cool guy. And hey, have a nice day. I never know how to end these videos. Bye.